Breaking news that's coming in from the war theatre. These are details of the aftermath of the strikes that's taken place on Tehran's Shahran oil depot. This, in fact, we brought to you a little while back about this attack on this oil depot, the Shahran oil depot in Tehran. Remember, Israel has been hitting at fuel depots along with command centers and military targets across Tehran. In fact, if we speak of this very oil depot in the aftermath, we see thick black smoke clouding over this very region, rising above the area, in fact, enshrouding the entirety of this very vicinity. Completely burnt truck that's also been seen at the site that shows the very extent of damage, destruction at this very spot. Fuel sites now being targeted. There was a massive explosion at another fuel site in Tehran itself last night, their local time, that is, visuals of which we were bringing to you. But right now, these are the latest details that we are getting of attacks being amped up by the Israeli and the US side on Tehran. Pranay Upadhyay joining me on the broadcast with more details on this particular bombing that's taken place. Pranay, let me understand one thing. When we speak of Israel now shifting targets from just the command centers and military targets to now not just these fuel depots, but a lot of the other civilian areas, be it an airport, like we'd seen yesterday. There was an airport, the Mehrabad airport, that was attacked. This entire shift in attacks brings the civilian life in this very region under danger. And then this moves away from precision strikes to a whole-out war against the whole region that we are now looking at.
It's been over 12 hours, Shreya, that, heavy, thick fume plume is coming from this Shahran oil depot. And in fact, if you see, the situation is quite grim there in Tehran after this, this airstrike by Israel. And if you see the Israeli argument, they say that this oil depot was actually supplying oil to the military establishments of Iran and IRGC, and this was being used by IRGC. That's why it became a legitimate target for Israel to hit hard. But the question you asked, that now the target has expanded from the military or the command structure of the political leadership, military leadership. Now it has come to the oil rigs, to oil depots, and even the desalination plants. So clearly the war has expanded, and in fact these visuals, I think the American forces and Israeli forces were also looking for some spectacular, some visuals that which can actually generate some shock, some awe in the region, that what exactly is the magnitude, because Iran is still being able to hit hard. Iran is still being able to retaliate. Missiles are still being able to penetrate the Iron Dome and David Sling, the missile defense cover for Israel. And that's why we see an intensification of this conflict. In fact, meanwhile, a statement also came from Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, wherein he said that his statement was misunderstood. Rather, he wanted to clarify that if an attack originates from any neighboring country, then it becomes a legitimate target. He is trying to make a cost. He's trying to make other countries realize the cost of hosting a US base, and in fact letting them use their soil, the soil of the neighboring countries, to attack, to launch an attack on Iran. And that's why President Masoud Pezeshkian has also recalibrated his words. But, given this scenario in post 9 days, now we see further intensification of this conflict, because today a desalination plant was hit by, Iran in Bahrain. One of the US base came under attack of an Iranian missile in Kuwait. And in last 12 hours, we have seen, the oil depots going off. We have seen desalination plants being hit. We have seen the US bases are continuously becoming a target of the Iranian strike. And we have seen intensification of US and Israeli airstrikes in the city of Tehran and other areas of Iran, be it in Isfahan, or be it, Tabriz, or be it Mashhad or Bandar Abbas, or other areas where possibly there could be missile silos, or possibly there could be, possible, missile launching sites or the drone launching sites of Iran.
Right, Pranay. Very crucial details that you've brought to light at this point of time and set things into perspective as to, and that also gives us an idea of which way is this war headed, in terms of the fact that Iran has consistently, viewers, been saying that we will not be turning back from here. We will not stop our retaliatory attacks because we have every right to defend our land. And that is what their stance has been since the very day one of those attacks on February 28th. Pranay, thank you for bringing us those details.